welcome back to the channel. And today I'd like to bring you a tag video. Now I don't do a lot of tags, and this again is going to be a very old one, like they almost always are on this channel. This is the finish the book tag. I have a card here because I'm not going to remember all the questions. There aren't many, thankfully, just 8 questions here. And the first of these prompts is, do you keep a list of books you have read? Now, like many people on Booktube or just generally reading books, I do have the Goodreads app and I have the notes section of my phone, and those tend to be the 2 ways I keep track. You know, I mark off that I've read a book on Goodreads and I add it to a little list on my phone. Do you record stats, and what stats do you record? So I record how many books I've read on Goodreads, like most people probably do. I also keep a little guide to how much I like the book as well, because I tend to review books. Do you give star ratings? Yes, I do. So on Goodreads, obviously they have their star rating system, which we all understand. It is a 2 decimal point scoring system based on an average. And though I don't have the same star rating myself, it is a universal language that book people do understand. Now I have a 50-point rating, so 0.1 up to 5.0, and yes, I do give star ratings. Do you review books? Well, I pretty much just answered that. I do review books. One thing I really enjoy about book reviews is having that information to know whether or not in a spoiler-free review a book is right for you and if it's worth your time, which I think is invaluable as a resource. I think the easiest way these days for us to get that information is through a scored system. I know very few reviewers will agree with me there, but unfortunately I came from reviewing of the world of digital media where that is very prevalent. I also believe that giving a score to a book or a piece of media really gives a very clear and concise idea of how much you appreciated or enjoyed that, and also it gives anyone watching a real ability to start a conversation around why you feel that way, why they feel differently. Where do you put your finished books? At the moment, I just put them straight back on the shelf, to be honest. Though the shelf space is done. Let's be honest. These books are going to be going into storage very shortly if they won't fit on the shelves. Number 6. How do you pick your next book? So I have 10 to 12 series on the go all the time. So those are on a cycle basically. So every 4 to 5 months, I will have to pick up the next entry in that series. And the dead time in between, I tend to fill with either reading events. So maybe it could be, Agatha in April or a Garb August, for example, or recommendations from people that watch my channel or channels that I watch. And that tends to really hit a list on my phone. I will put them into some kind of order a few months out to make sure that I am not forgetting any of my series or any of my recommendations. Number 7, do I have any rituals when I finish a book? So when I finish a book, I tend to place it down and try to find some headspace. Take a breath, have a cup of coffee, and think about what I've just read. Think about it in context to everything I've read recently. So I'll put up a list of all the reads I've had recently, all the books that are of similar nature, how I felt about them, what kind of scores I gave them. And then I will come back and I will revisit all of that a few days later, and then I'll set something down in writing, or I'll write down a score or something so I can keep like a physical note, not just a mental note of how I felt about that book. Number 8, who should you tag? So this is an old tag, and I've noticed every time I go to tag someone in this, they've already done the tag. So what I've actually done is I've picked someone like myself who is struggling away under 200 subscribers and all the rest of that. So I've picked Back Away from the Donkey books. I love his channel. If you haven't watched Back Away from the Donkey, it might be one of the greatest Booktube channels ever made. I cannot stop watching it. And so I hope he will come on and do a tag. I know it's not necessarily his bag, but I'd just love to see his answers to the questions.